Right, question 5. So you've got a diagram showing the lighting circuit in an office, and the lights are arranged in parallel because we can see that there's junctions in the circuit and we can see that there's separate loops, and we're asked to state 2 advantages of connecting lamps in this way, in parallel, rather than in series. Now there's a number of things you could write down here. Probably the most common one, which we got correct answers for, was that the bulbs can be turned on and off individually. So each of those switches controls just one bulb. In series, that's not an option. Okay, the circuit is either complete or incomplete, and all the bulbs will come on and off together. Another advantage is if one bulb breaks, the others will remain on. Okay, because each of them is a separate path that current can take from one side of the power supply to the other. So if one path becomes impossible because it's broken, then the other paths are still possible places for the current to flow. And the final one I'm going to put in here, each bulb will be just as bright as if there was only one bulb in the circuit. So if you add bulbs in series, they get dimmer and dimmer and dimmer, so by the time you put 3 bulbs in, you're going to have dim bulbs. In parallel, it makes no difference to their brightness. What is the purpose of the 5 amp fuse? Well, fuses and circuit breakers always have the same purpose. Okay, essentially it's to stop things getting damaged and overheating, and what they're really doing is they're preventing the current from being too high in the appliance. And if the current is too high, then the electronics within expensive pieces of electrical equipment can be damaged. So to prevent that happening, the fuse will blow, and that will cut the current off. And the final part of this question, explain how a fuse works. Well, a fuse would just basically behave like a resistor, a tiny little piece of wire, until the current gets too high. Now in this case it's a 5 amp fuse, so it's only going to act if the current exceeds its rated value. Okay, so if the current exceeds 5 amps, and you get 1 mark for stating that, then the fuse is going to melt. Okay, or you can say the fuse breaks. Don't say that the fuse burns. Okay, it's a piece of metal, it reaches a certain temperature and it will melt, and that creates a break in the circuit. And that's what the 3rd mark is coming for saying that this will break the circuit, creating a gap in it because the metal fuse wire has melted, and that prevents the current from flowing. So we're looking for 1 mark for each of those 3 points.